I want people to know that we are all better for her. She was such a light and just a positive force in our community, and we are all better as performers and as people, I think, because of her.
Imagine giving the performance of your life, only for it to become your final act. Today we're diving into the hauntingly real stories of 20 performers, actresses, who tragically passed away while doing what they loved most, performing on stage. Stick around because number 1 will absolutely shock you. Number 20, Adrien Louvier. Adrien Louvier was a celebrated French actress, renowned for her naturalistic acting style, which departed from the traditional stylized performances of her era. Born in Dameray, France, she began her professional career in Lille before making her Paris debut at the Comédie Française in 1717. Her performances in roles such as Electra in Crébillon's Tragedy and Angélique in Molière's George Dandin garnered widespread acclaim. Louvier's personal life was marked by a romantic involvement with Maurice de Saxe, a prominent military leader. Her mysterious death in 1730, attributed to poisoning by a rival, the Duchess of Bouillon, added to her enigmatic legacy. The Church's refusal to grant her a Christian burial led to a bitter poem by her friend Voltaire. Her life and untimely death inspired various artistic works, including the 1849 play Adrien Louvier by Eugénie Scribe and Ernest Le Gouvet, which portrays her life and mysterious death. Additionally, the opera Adriana Louvier by François Cillier premiered in 1902, and it's based on her story. Number 19, Madame Delinsky. Imagine a magic trick so perilous that it has claimed multiple lives over the centuries. Such as the notorious bullet catch, and Madame Delinsky's story is among the most tragic. In 1820, Polish magician Madame Delinsky and her husband performed before a German prince in his court. Their act's climax involved Madame Delinsky catching bullets fired by a firing squad of 6 soldiers, a feat requiring precise coordination and trust. The soldiers were instructed to load their rifles with blanks, achieved by biting off the bullet's end and emptying the gunpowder, rendering them harmless. However, one soldier, perhaps due to nerves or oversight, loaded a live round. When the guns fired, a real bullet struck Madame Delinsky in the abdomen. The audience, including members of the royal family, were horrified. Some reportedly fainted at the sight. Despite medical efforts, Madame Delinsky succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. Tragically, she was pregnant at the time, too, resulting in the loss of her unborn child. Her husband's devastation was profound, with reports suggesting he was driven to madness by the incident. The bullet catch trick has been linked to at least 15 deaths, leading to many magicians to deem it cursed. Even the legendary Harry Houdini refrained from attempting it, heeding warnings from fellow magicians about its perilous nature. Number 18, Annie von Baron. A theatrical stunt intended to thrill turned fatal, leaving audiences and performers alike in shock. Such was the fate of Annie von Baron. Annie von Baron was a 25-year-old American stage actress who found herself in the spotlight during the late 19th century. In 1882, she joined the theatrical company of Frank I. Frayne, a renowned actor and sharpshooter known for his daring stage acts. One of their signature performances was a reenactment of the William Tell scene, where Frayne would shoot an apple off von Baron's head using a rifle, a stunt requiring impeccable precision. On November the 30th, 1982, during a Thanksgiving Day matinee at Cincinnati's Coliseum Theater, the act took a tragic turn. As Frayne took aim and fired, the rifle malfunctioned, causing the bullet to strike von Baron in the head. She collapsed on stage, and despite immediate medical attention, she died from her injuries. The audience, initially unaware of the gravity of the situation, was soon engulfed in horror as the reality set in. Following the incident, Frayne was arrested and charged with manslaughter. However, during the trial, it was determined that the shooting was accidental, and he was acquitted. Witnesses testified that a mechanical failure in the rifle caused the misfire. Number 17. Matilda Pasaly. Imagine the thrill of a theatrical flight turning into a nightmare. Such was the tragic fate of Matilda Pasaly. Matilda Pasaly, born Mathilda Mayer in 1840 in Bucharest, was a celebrated Romanian stage actress known for her captivating performances. In 1873, while performing an angel in the play Don Juan de Marana, Pasaly was to make a dramatic entrance, descending from above, suspended by wires, a spectacle designed to awe the audience. However, due to a mishandling by the stagehands, the wires malfunctioned, causing her to crash upside down into a wall. The audience, initially believing it to be part of the act, soon realized the severity of the situation as Pasaly lay motionless. Despite immediate medical attention, she succumbed to her injuries. Number 16. The Gail Sisters. Picture a family of talented ballerinas whose promising careers were abruptly ended by a devastating fire. This is the heartbreaking story of the Gail Sisters. The Gail Sisters, Hannah 22, Abiona 18, Cecilia 17, and Ruth 15, were a renowned quartet of British ballerinas celebrated for their beauty and talent. In 1861, they were performing at Philadelphia's Continental Theater in a production of Shakespeare's The Tempest. On September the 14th, during the performance, Zelia Gale's gauze dress accidentally caught fire from a gas jet in her dressing room. In a desperate attempt to save her, her sisters rushed to her aid, but the flames quickly spread to their costumes as well. The theater, filled with approximately 1,500 patrons, descended into chaos as the fire rapidly engulfed the stage area. Tragically, all four sisters, along with several other dancers, perished in the blaze. Number 15. Stephanie Lawrence. Imagine mesmerizing audiences night after night, only to have your final curtain call come unexpectedly. Such was the fate of Stephanie Lawrence. Stephanie Lawrence was a celebrated British musical theatre actress, renowned for her powerful performances in West End productions. Born in 1949 on Hayling Island, Hampshire, she was immersed in the arts from a young age, with a Welsh singing father and a classically trained dancer mother who formed the children's dance troupe, the Kent Babes. Lawrence's passion for performance led her to iconic roles, including Mrs. Johnstone in The Blood Brothers, Grisabella in Cats, and the title role in Evita, where she took over from Elaine Page in 1982. Tragically, on November 4, 2000, Lawrence was found dead at her home in Fulham, London, at the age of just 50 years old. The cause of death was later revealed to be natural causes related to liver disease. Her passing shocked the theatre community, as she had not been publicly known to be ill. A Scotland Yard spokesman stated, "The death is not being treated as suspicious." Number 14. Jane Little. Imagine dedicating over 7 decades to your passion, only to have it claim you in the end. This was the extraordinary journey of Jane Little. Jane Little was an American classical double bass player, celebrated for her remarkable 71-year tenure with the Atlantic Symphony Orchestra, or ASO, a feat recognized by Guinness World Records as the longest professional tenure with a single orchestra. Standing at just 4 feet 11 inches tall, Little's stature contrasted with the imposing double bass she mastered. She began her career at 16 years old, joining the ASO's predecessor, the Atlanta Youth Symphony Orchestra, in 1945. Over the decades, she became a beloved figure in the orchestra, known for her dedication and passion for music. On May the 15th, 2016, during a performance of Irving Berlin's There's No Business Like Show Business, Little collapsed on stage. Despite immediate medical attention, she passed away later that evening at the age of 87. Her passing marked the end of an era for the ASO, with Executive Director Jennifer Barlament remarking, "She was an inspiration for everyone at the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra and for audiences who enjoyed her performances spanning 7 decades. Number 13. Valencia Prime. Imagine a vibrant performer captivating an audience, only for the show to end in unforeseen tragedy. Such was the heartbreaking fate of Valencia Prime. Valencia Prime, a 25-year-old transgender woman, was a beloved figure in Philadelphia's drag scene, affectionately known as Philadelphia's plus-sized dancing diva. On September the 12th, 2022, while performing at Taboo Lounge and Sports Bar in Philadelphia, Prime collapsed on stage. Despite immediate medical attention, she was pronounced dead that evening. The Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office later attributed her death to heart disease. Her passing sent shockwaves throughout the community, with fellow performers and fans expressing their grief and admiration. Drag artist Aloe Vera shared, "I love you with everything in my heart, Valencia. Rest in power." Number 12. Sarah Gilo. Picture an acrobat soaring gracefully, only for a split-second mishap to lead an unimaginable loss. This was the tragic reality for Sarah Gilo. Sarah Sassoon Gilo was a 31-year-old French acrobat and aerialist, performing with Cirque du Soleil's Ka at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. On June the 29th, 2013, during the show's climactic battle scene, she was hoisted up the side of the stage when she suddenly plummeted approximately 90 feet into a pit below. The audience, initially believing it to be part of the act, was horrified upon realizing the gravity of the situation. Gilo was pronounced dead later that night, with the coroner attributing her death to multiple blunt force trauma. This incident marked the first on-stage fatality in Cirque du Soleil's history, leading to the suspension of performances and a thorough investigation. Founder Guy Liberté expressed deep sorrow, stating, "I am heartbroken. We are all completely devastated with this news." Number 11. Joanna S Garcia. Imagine a vibrant performance turning into an unforeseen tragedy. Such was the fate of Joanna S Garcia. Joanna S Garcia was a 30-year-old Spanish singer and dancer, performing with the Super Hollywood Orchestra, a popular touring music group. On September the 1st, 2019, during a concert in Los Berlanes, Spain, a pyrotechnic device malfunctioned, causing an explosion that struck S Garcia in the abdomen. Despite immediate medical attention, she was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. Number 10. Carmen Miranda. Picture a vibrant performer delivering her signature energy, only for the show to end in unforeseen tragedy. Such was the heartbreaking fate of Carmen Miranda. Carmen Miranda, known as the Brazilian Bombshell, was a Portuguese-born Brazilian samba singer, dancer, and actress who became a Hollywood sensation in the 1940s. On August the 4th, 1955, while filming a segment for The Jimmy Durante Show, Miranda suffered a mild heart attack during a dance number. Ever the professional, she finished the performance but collapsed later that night at home and passed away. Her untimely death at 46 shocked fans worldwide. Number 9. Isabelle Boner. Imagine a scene where reality and performance blur, leading to unforeseen tragedy. Such was the fate of Isabelle Boner. Isabelle Boner was a 47-year-old actress performing in a play alongside her husband, actor John Cram. During a scene set in a hospital, Boner suddenly collapsed on stage. Her co-star, Dane Clark, initially thought it was part of the performance and ad-libbed, but soon realized something was terribly wrong. Despite immediate medical attention, unfortunately, Boner passed away. Number 8. Edith Webster. Imagine delivering a death scene so convincingly that the audience doesn't realize it's real. Well, that's exactly what happened with Edith Webster. In 1986, during a performance of the melodrama The Drunkard at the Townsend Moose Lodge in Baltimore, Edith Webster was portraying a grandmother who dies in the play. Her character's final moment involved singing "Please Don't Talk About Me When I'm Gone," and then collapsing to the floor. Tragically, during the scene, Webster suffered a fatal heart attack and collapsed on stage. The audience, familiar with the play's plot, believed her collapse was part of the performance and continued to applaud, unaware of the real-life emergency unfolding before them. It wasn't until her fellow cast members realized she wasn't acting that they called for medical assistance, but unfortunately it was too late. Number 7. Lillian Lel. Ever wondered about the perils faced by early circus performers? Lillian Leitzel's story is a testament to both their daring and vulnerability. Lillian Leitzel was a celebrated acrobat with the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, renowned for her breathtaking aerial routines. Born into a circus family in 1892, she quickly rose to fame for her signature act, which involved performing a series of one-arm planches, daring drops and catches that showcased her incredible strength and agility. Leitzel's performances were nothing short of mesmerizing, often leaving audiences in awe of her seemingly superhuman abilities. Tragically, on February 13, 1931, during a performance in Copenhagen, Denmark, one of the rings she was gripping snapped, causing her to fall approximately 20 feet to the ground. Despite sustaining severe injuries, including a fractured spine and concussion, Leitzel initially survived the fall, but succumbed to her injuries just 2 days later. Number 6. Clare Vestris Webster. Imagine a performance where the beauty of ballet intertwines with unforeseen danger. Such was the fate of Clare Vestris Webster. Clare Vestris Webster was a promising English ballet dancer in the early 19th century, celebrated for her grace and talent. On December 17, 1844, during a performance of the ballet The Revolt of Harem at London's Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, tragedy struck. In the second act, portraying the character Zulissa, Webster's dress accidentally caught fire from an oil lamp on stage. The highly flammable materials of her costume ignited rapidly, engulfing her in flames. Despite immediate efforts to extinguish the fire, Webster sustained severe burns and succumbed to her injuries 3 days later. Number 5. Irma Bule. What would you do if a deadly snake bit you on stage? For Indonesian singer Irma Bule, the show had to go on. Irma Bule was a popular dangdut singer in Indonesia, known for her daring performances that often included live snakes as part of her act. On April 3, 2016, during a concert in Karawang, West Java, she performed with a king cobra draped around her neck. Mid-performance, she accidentally stepped on the cobra's tail, causing it to bite her on the thigh. Astonishingly, Bule continued to perform for another 45 minutes, refusing the antidote offered by the snake handler, believing she was immune to the venom. It wasn't until she began vomiting and collapsed on stage that she was rushed to the hospital, where unfortunately she was later pronounced dead. Number 4. Sarah Lamont. In 1997, opera singer Sarah Lamont tragically collapsed and died on stage during a performance of Carmina Burana in Glasgow, Scotland. Lamont, a highly respected mezzo-soprano, was performing at the renowned Royal Scottish National Orchestra when the tragedy occurred. The performance, a dramatic cantata composed by Carl Orff, was part of a major concert that also featured a full choir and orchestra. During the second movement, Lamont, who was in the midst of singing her solo, suddenly collapsed. The audience initially thought it was part of the performance, but it became clear something was terribly wrong when she remained motionless on stage. Medical staff quickly rushed to her aid, but she was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. The cause of her sudden collapse was later determined to be a heart attack. Number 3. Fial Kim. Imagine a beloved performer captivating her audience, only for the show to end in unforeseen tragedy. Such was the heartbreaking fate of Fial Kim. Fial Kim, born Vera Seaman on April 16, 1938, was a celebrated Lebanese actress and singer, renowned for her comedic roles in parodies. Introduced to show business at a very young age by her father, she garnered popular acclaim and traveled back to Lebanon, where she continued performing until her untimely death. On July 4, 1988, during a live performance, Kim suffered a fatal heart attack on stage. Number 2. Peg Woffington. Imagine a celebrated actress delivering a captivating performance, only for it to end in unforeseen tragedy. Such was the fate of Peg Woffington. Margaret Peg Woffington, born 1714 and died 1760, was an Irish actress renowned for her comedic roles and breeches part in the 18th century London theatre. She began her career as a child street singer in Dublin and made her stage debut at the age of 10 in a juvenile production of John Gray's The Beggar's Opera. Woofington achieved significant success in London, performing at both Drury Lane and Covent Garden theatres. Her portrayal of Rosalind in As You Like It was particularly acclaimed. On May 3, 1757, during a performance of As You Like It, Woofington collapsed on stage while playing the role of Rosalind. She managed to rally briefly but never returned to the stage, suffering from a lingering illness until her death in 1760. Number 1. Katsuki Hiromi. Imagine a routine costume change leading to an unimaginable tragedy. Such was the fate of Katsuki Hiromi. Katsuki Hiromi, born Hiro Ogasawara in 1936, was a 21-year-old actress with Japan's all-female Takarazuku Revue. On April 1, 1958, during a performance of Hana no Naka no Kodomi Taki at the Takarazuku Grand Theater, Hiromi's underskirt, which had a metal band around the waist, became entangled in the stage lift's rotating shaft. Unable to free herself, she was fatally injured as the machinery continued to operate. Following her death, the theater installed safety guards on the lifts, reducing their operating speed, and replaced metal costume parts with bamboo to prevent future accidents. A memorial was erected at the Takarazuka Music School, where students place flowers every April 1st in her honor. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through history. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories that amaze and inspire. Check out our other videos for fascinating tales of the unexpected. See you in the next one. Stay curious.